hello, hello. This is OK here, and we are streaming live action from um, the Crazyhouse World Championship 2020. Um, we're reaching the deciding matches for the candidates. We have littleplotkin up against ArtOfDeception. I should open up exactly who plays who to follow. I think it's something like the winner of this plays Legion Destroyer or something like this. And I'm streaming, so not recording this time. So therefore, people listening can make sure that it's all coming through correctly this time. I had an unfortunate accident in my last recording. So we're in game one. I just play through game one again, and it's a French defense. F6 is always the target for white in the French defense. And interesting. The interesting choice to bring the bishop out and then bring it back again. And ArtOfDeception going for h5. Castles. Okay, so bishop retreats, develops. So it's, white opens up the f-file, so that's quite promising, and goes in for an attack on g6. He gets the g6. He's looking for, what's he looking for? Diagonals, is it? Or so he takes the bishop. Is that is he winning the knight? Maybe. Okay, and black gives up the queen, and we're up to the live position. I kind of skirted through quite a few critical moves, and black is quite low on time. So let's just read the chat. Katas says, I prefer the simple 25 f takes g3. Well, 25 f takes g3. Okay. Keeping the tension on the queen. Okay. So pawn, knight, bishop in hand. This bishop is actually providing defense on d6. So coming in, so queen takes knight is the obvious threat. If you go here, bishop takes knight is the problem. Okay, so too much pressure on those dark squares. In the end, it was very fitting that French defense should end with the move at f6 and timeout. So I also heard that today Lichess is implementing a new system with streamers that only the top streams get featured. That says very confident game from Plotkin. Good start to the match. So I'm just actually going to have a quick check. Do I qualify? Okay, yes, I'm there for the moment. That's good. So at busy time periods, they said only certain streams which have lots of followers and lots of subs get to be featured on the Lichess front page. So at least I'm featured at the start of the stream, which is good, if I'm not continuously. Okay, so we have a wolf defense from black, very quite a passive setup, but quite a solid setup, quite hard to break down. And white gets in e5. And just to say, it is 10 past 2 in the morning here, so if I'm a bit stopey, that's my excuse. Okay, so I'm expecting this, putting pressure on e5. Kadas wondering if this is good in slower time controls. Okay, so not only putting pressure on e5, also having an eye on f2. Okay, so white maneuvering his pieces from the queen side to the king side to provide extra defense. So I've been playing a lot of Atomic in the last few days, so when I see a move like that, my instincts are jumping towards, knight takes pawn is an explosion, and it will blow up all the pieces around the pawn, so his bishop and knights will die, but I have to get back into Crazyhouse mode. But actually the dark squares are quite well defended by white, so the bishop's guarding g3 and so on. So what did black do, in fact? Ah, this is actually a really nice idea, defending the knight with the h-pawn. So if takes, you open up the h-file and you get an attack on f3s. So it's quite a smart idea. And then just backtrack, and then white blocked off that diagonal. And so yeah, white's doing quite nicely here. Kadas says, allowing knight e4 with tempo seems dangerous. This is backtracking to bishop c5, knight e4 with tempo, yes. Yeah, so white is doing quite nicely here indeed. Because it's both attacking the bishop and defending. And bringing a piece over from the queen side to the king side. So quite a nice move. Okay, so it looks like he was wanting to sack on f7 and bring another knight in. So this knight defends against that idea. And now what's the intention here? It looks like it's e6. Okay, so white has broken through on e6, and he was hitting obviously the queen to e7 to defend g7. But is there an obvious follow-up? Because this knight is hanging now, so he defends it. But obviously black's pieces are rather uncoordinated. But it doesn't look like there's any knockout blow. So just attack met with counterattack. Queen takes pawn looks to be too dangerous. Rook takes pawn. There are just too many weaknesses. But hang on. Where's the entry point into the position though? Maybe it's just okay. I see. Yeah, he's just blowing open the d file. This is going to be hard to defend. So if the king backtracks, it's just a pawn will land and maybe even promote, or else there'll be an exchange of queens. If you block, then there's this and this idea. Is there something stronger? The bishop might provide protection though if you move the knight. And Kara says no need to do anything complicated. Yeah. Just wonder what. This is an interesting. So if pawn takes, as queen takes, b7 was an idea. Queen takes queen is always yummy in this sort of position because you're the one attacking. So yeah, this knight check is nice, but it does reveal the bishop's defense. So that one would want to have something concrete, and probably there is something concrete. There's queen takes b7 kind of ideas. Knight here, check, takes the queen, he gets the queen with check, and this has got to be bad news. So queen here and a bishop here, for example, will cut off all of these squares in this little square, and drive the king into the white pawns. So it's going to be game over. Yep, every move by white captures a white defender, says Katask in the comments. So we have a match on our hands. One game all. Both the first two games have gone to white. Another French defense from Art of Deception. So yeah, Katas says, seems so far that space advantage has proven tough to defend against. Okay, so interestingly, littleplotkin, despite winning game one, decides to mix it up and not go for the advanced French, instead going for, well, I can't call it the winner, but knight c3. But this wasn't yeah, this wasn't ArtOfDeception's decision to open up the game. It was littleplotkin as white playing knight c3 on move 3, which I think last time he went for an advance, but I could be wrong. Okay, so stuff like knight at h6 could even be a threat. Does it do anything? Takes, takes. Maybe there's nothing because it just leaves a g7 square. In the meantime, the black queen is eyeing g2. Oh, it's a very nice move, just hitting e6, but what's the... Takes the queen, so this is a mate threat, but it's defended for now. There is queen h8, knight takes rook, but I don't think it achieves anything. Pepe, hi, greetings. So now I know that the stream is working. I have someone in Twitch chat. Now I'm catching up chat. Bishop at h5 from much earlier seemed more prudent. Pawn at e2 failed to knight at h6 and knight takes e6 mating in this position. Pawn at e2 failed to knight h6, knight h6. Oh, and knight takes e6 mating. So you could have just taken the pawn, is what he's saying. Okay, I can't see it all the way through, but so it takes the knight. He defends with the pawn. Interesting. Okay, so he puts a pawn on g6 rather. So what's the idea of that move? Queen here, king takes. Knight takes rook, king here. What's rook here, king here? He'd need another knight to mate. Yeah, if white had another knight in hand, that would be very interesting, because that would be mate. But he doesn't have another knight in hand. And I'm not sure what g6 achieved. Yeah, Kada's saying, something's gone wrong. Pepe, it is working. To stop at g6 by white, the idea of at g6, I mean. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not quite sure what at g6 achieved, but I guess, yeah, I'm not seeing it. In this position, what I'd be wanting to know is, can I somehow bag a knight? Because then, in this position, yeah, queen here. Oh, so it does block off the g6 square, but knight takes rook, drop a rook here, king takes, and knight here is mate. If somehow I could get a knight, but this is just dream. This is dream Crazyhouse rather than real Crazyhouse. Yeah. So it is true that this is blocking off the g6 square in any future mating attack. Yeah. Okay. So queen e3 provides coverage for f3 because, yeah, but knight takes rook is still going to be met with knight at f3, so it's rather unpleasant. And this bishop also is defending, which is quite smart. So you can't go knight takes pawn, bishop takes knight, queen takes, knight here is mate. So this bishop is proving a real thorn. I'd block off this diagonal as soon as possible. Just put a pawn on. Instead of going queen e3, I think just pawn at d3, something like this. But I guess the problem then was knight at f3, winning the queen. So okay, that wasn't. Oh no, but knight takes knight. Yeah. He needs to block off this diagonal as soon as possible. Oh, I see. And this is the point of this bishop move, is actually, even if you block off this diagonal, there's still this pawn is still defended. But I think this diagonal is more treacherous in a way. So what happens is this mate threat is renewed, but now your queen is also under attack, which is very unpleasant. Rook takes knight. Was knight takes f7 possible? Wonders Katask. Knight takes f7. Knight at g4. Not sure. Knight takes f7. Knight at f3. Takes, and then go for a mate of some kind. Rook takes queen. Now bishop takes f4, knight takes f4, and knight at g2 seems crashing. Yeah, exploiting the pin. Okay, so real trouble for Plotkin, but sneakily going for queen takes h7. With only 3 seconds on the clock. This is tough. Okay. Yeah, so Pepe is giving me all these lines as well as Katask. Knight takes f7, knight f3, queen takes f3. How's that working? So bishop takes queen. Do you have a mate back in that situation? That's the question. Ooh, king is on the run. Oh, that was a really nice move because it secured that pawn, and now any check will mate, and indeed, Art of Deception gets the mate. So just to open up that position a bit earlier, so if you just grab the rook, just to check, yeah, just grabbing the rook was fine actually, incredibly. So basically the point is this takes, if you just take here, rook at h8, king takes. Oh, you've got another knight in hand. Okay, so obviously this is bad news because this is all cut off. Okay, so back to the live action. So sorry about that. This is so Little Plotkin. His serve's been broken. He has to break back. He goes for e4, e5, and he's playing down. Kata's quite a nice game by Art. Plotkin. E5 is a good choice to play something more concrete, but he's invited knight takes g7, and Pepe says, "What is this line?" So I say up to here it's fine, but I don't think knight f6 is correct. Everyone's, yeah. I mean, at this, takes here. This. I mean, I think you have to play something like king f8 or something. You have to do something else, surely. Here, or maybe this is wrong already. But yeah, this is bad news. Knight f6 novelty, says Pepe. So knight f6 is more common than bishop c5. So knight f6 first. Okay, that helps in terms of move order. So he means knight f6 on move 4 rather than on move 5. I think it was in move 5. Yeah, knight f6 is on move 5. Yeah, this is a nightmare because obviously pawn lands on g7, picks up a rook, and then white only needs a diagonal to mate. And I can't see Plotkin defending this against as good a player as Art of Deception. Queen f6 was the suggestion rather than knight f6 to defend g7. And I was thinking king f8, but yeah, there we go. Here, well, bishop takes rook. If king takes, pawn here and rook in the corner is mate. So that's the problem. So if bishop takes rook, he would take the knight. can't even ever take this because this queen is... Okay, so hang on to what happened. He took this knight. Oof. Pawn is landing here and you're losing your queen. And of course... Okay. If you take back... Queen here. Maybe. Looks risky. And like a pawn here and a pawn here, something like this. Can't quite see it to mate, but what else do you do? Bishop. There's no good square for the bishop. Bishop at f6. Queen here. King takes knight. Queen takes rook. King takes and rook here. We're going to see that. Queen here. And queen takes rook. And if king takes knight, you've got a rook here. Yeah, we're seeing it. Oh, I missed that. It's much simpler. Oh, sorry, the queen is not defending this square. But okay, this is going to do the job. Oh, that's a nice mate. Tough game for Plotkin. Yeah. And to be honest, little Plotkin should have just gone with what worked so well in game one, and continued with it. He played a really nice game one with advanced French, and it's very hard for black to defend with the weak f6. But instead, he's playing different opening every game. This is quite good though. He's managed to get in f4 before knight f3, so this is a I guess e3 is slightly weak, but it's okay. It's secure. The only two squares to be worried about in this position for white are e3 and h3, and they're both nicely defended. So in fact, I would say the entry point for black is actually g4, if there are any exchanges. King's Indian attack, says Pepe. Yeah, very nice play. So white's got a nice space. Yeah, slightly worried about these two squares, and I'm not sure why he didn't go knight g4. I guess he has nothing in hand, so you could just kick it. He can't make use of it. So it would actually just help white's development if you go knight g4. And so now we are in the advanced French pawn structure with these two pawns. Well, the white pawn's not on d4 as yet, but oh, g4. Yeah, no, I don't like this at all. You see, this in normal chess, this would be fine, but I'm very concerned about once any piece is exchanged, g3 is suddenly a huge hole in the position, and it has potential for support as well. Okay, but a really nice move because he just wants bishop takes knight and getting in on g7. So he has his own plans. Of course, whenever you go knight h5 attacking g7, rook g8 is often the defense. Even ideas of sacking and dropping a pawn on f6 sometimes. And now after at e6, okay, now these dark squares are really going to be potential menace, although black could even just sack a piece at some point to try and clear away the danger. Knight takes pawn, knight takes knight. Okay, but he's oh, this pawn's hanging. Okay, so black is suddenly, yeah, black seems suddenly okay because now f3 is weak and all these squares f3, g3. Pepe says, is there a knight takes f5 idea? There certainly might be. But I think he's concerned about the weak e3 square, e3, f3, g3, all weak. So if you give up a knight, there's knight at e3. In the meantime, what Plotkin must be eyeing is the f7 square, f7, e6, and so on. Okay, there's no f4 because the knight, bishop, rook all guard, so that's secure for now. But there could be e5 and then f4. No, they can't because knight takes. Oops. Yeah, f5 is actually potentially weak. Yeah, so black goes straight in for f3, which was an idea even earlier. Takes, takes, takes. Takes, 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 takes. The problem is bishop here, you'd have to go takes, takes, takes again. I think you have to take it though. Takes. But you could take with the rook next. Oh, he doesn't take it. I'm surprised. Yeah, black should definitely have taken the bishop. Hi there, You So Rude and Joanna Tries. You So Rude says white is winning. Well, I'd say if black had taken that bishop, I feel he'd have been doing well. Now I'm not sure. Pepe says black just enjoying the light squares. Yeah, but I think this is dangerous actually. At some point, but there's a queen trade. How long has that been hanging? Quite a while. With this move, there's always a queen trade on offer if either side wants it. And the side which wants a queen trade is the side which is attacking. I think black could even take this. Takes, takes, takes. There's no check. This bishop provides coverage. Seems secure and could also go here, but there doesn't seem... I think, yeah, black would be happy with the queen. Just blocks. I don't see anything. Knight here would be a danger if we block. Just blocks, simply blocks on d6. Pepe says knight takes g2 and drop bishop on f3. I think, yeah, that's definitely the threat. The queen trade looks dangerous for white's king, but I'm not... Pepe says he's not a good player. No, this absolutely, yeah, this is my reasoning as well. White's king is less secure. Notice this is always a danger. That's why this is a very smart move. Knight at f3. Reason was to guard against knight at e5, against the black king, which itself wasn't even mating, or maybe it was. Yeah, pawn at d7. It's not clear, but pawn at d7 and queen on the back rank, sort of back rank ideas. Okay, so he withdraws the knight and he's planning bishop at f3. So putting a knight on e5 is a great defender for the king, and it's stopping any drops on this square. Very nice. And Joanna's sharing my blog emote. Thanks for that. OKZH. Ooh, so trying to make progress on the light squares, but white to move, but hard to defend. Because he's got this pin to contend with. And a pawn is landing on f3 next, so he has to defend somehow, probably with the bishop. But then he'd lose the rook. Okay, so goes for a counterattack. Okay, bishop takes rook is check though. What? Bishop takes rook is check. Oh wow, that's not mate. It's not quite mate. Interesting. And but just simply this, and there's no pawn. White has no pawn for f6. So just simply knight e5. And knight e5 comes. And he expected it, so drop the queen quickly. He's trying to play for time. Bishop here is threatening rook at g2. But yeah, no. A rook's not really useful to mate. So just having a queen in hand is nasty because the threat was just knight f3 coming in next, queen h2, and that was surely mating. Okay, the point of taking h3 is knight g4 is now a threat. Still, I don't see the mate, but maybe picking up the rook next. hard to defend. So that's why he puts the rook to guard g4. Yes, this is tough. Tough, tough, tough. Oh, knight takes rook. He's got the rook now with check. He's got the rook with check, and he's got a pawn on g4 with 15 seconds left against Plotkin's 10. Tough position to defend. Oh, what? What is that? Oh, that is smart. And then back rank mate. Oh, okay. He's lost the back rank mate, but he's got this and then back rank mate again. Okay. I still don't get it, but okay. He's got rook and then rook takes rook. I don't know if he's just trolling or what. Because he's just... Black isn't delivering. Black isn't delivering the goods. Okay, he's got it now. The bishop defended g1. There was no back rank mate, says Pepe. Okay, so I'm just... I see. Okay. I'm just bad. Okay, so did we see a slightly different order here? Knight f6 first, then knight f5 castles. Yes, this feels, or it felt closer to opening theory until knight takes e4. Is knight takes e4? And Guga says, Guga and Satros, are they pre-moving a 3+2 game? They're playing too fast. Well, the opening is the opening, but here, knight takes pawn. Yeah, knight takes pawn, I'm not... What was the idea of this? If knight takes knight, and knight takes knight came, and we're going to see a very fast d5, I expect. But seems actually okay. Seems okay for black, but I'm not sure if... Yeah, so there's a double threat. Both the knights are under attack. But a lot of pieces around black's king. It looks a bit nervous. Knight takes g2, sure. I think, yeah, knight takes g7, you so rude is thinking. Pepe says, knight f6 on move 4. Littleplotkin is learning Crazyhouse opening theory. Yeah, indeed. Knight takes g7 is what you so rude meant. And that comes. Oh, this is dangerous. Taking it back is surely dangerous. I think taking it back is the mistake, though, surely. Because now knight at h4, knight at h5 is close to mate. It must surely be mating. If king here, I'm just... You have... Oh, you can't move this knight. Okay. So all my mating ideas were all based on the fact of moving this knight at some point. And the knight is pinned. Okay. This is useful. Useful to see. Pawn f6. So how's this go again? Pawn f6 brings the queen out, so he's going for... So he didn't go to g8 because he was afraid of knight h6, I guess. He's just trying to create escape squares for his king, but I don't know, queen takes pawn just seems strong. Like, you're not running away from this. What is happening here? You can just deliver a check, put a pawn on g7. If you run, there's going to be a trade of queens. That surely can't be good for black with his king so open. So this is another opening disaster as black. No, this king is not surviving. Oh, so you went knight at g7, queen takes pawn. Okay, that's interesting. What's the continuation here? Knight takes bishop you want, but of course it's still pinned. Again, you want queen takes rook, king takes, knight takes bishop. It has to be good. It just has to be good, because the king can't run back this way. Oh, he doesn't do it. I wonder why. So queen takes rook, king takes, knight takes bishop, king runs back, bishop here. Remember, this bishop would then be opened up. Yeah, bishop supports g6 also. Yeah, I mean, the king would have to run back, and then rook here is back rank mate, something like this. King here, pawn, and rook is back rank mate. Yeah, queen takes rook was mating. And just, yeah, 12T and Katask in the chat agreed. Queen takes rook, just mated for white. But this, I think he's going for the queen, just simply going for the queen and queen at e8, something like this. Pawn takes knight is going to come to try and give the king some avenue for escaping. So the king's going to run up. And the game continues, but black just has 3 knights to try and make something happen. No, can't see anything concrete though. Pawn takes pawn was always an idea though. The idea just, if you can ever get takes promotion double check is what your long-term goal is. And Pepper is saying queen at d5 instead of e8. If I just look at this, queen at d5, yeah, interesting idea. Queen at d5. But the threat here is quite strong. This, oh, it's coming. Yeah, this and get a third queen sort of idea. This or get a third queen with check. This is very strong. It's quite pretty actually. Get a third queen. Oh, this is quite a hilarious position. It's not even clear to take the rook. There are other moves like queen takes bishop and queen takes f7 as well. There's so many options. Okay, but only 4 seconds for ArtOfDeception, so can he find it? Can he find the mate? It's not so clear. He's trying to block off the king, but 2 seconds left. 2 seconds left to find a mate. 1 second left. Oh, he's just worried about queen here. But I think knight takes rook. This is not so clear now. He's just trying to. Oof, knight, rook, queen. I think black's just going for a pawn. He's going to take the pawn and put the pawn on. Oof, this is dangerous. Blocks him off. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Plotkin finds something here. Threat is queen takes with checkmate. Oh, you've found the mate. Unbelievable comeback. Oh, he will be so thrilled right now with to play a game where your opponent has 3 queens on your back rank and to come back from that. He needs to find easier games as black. GSVC, that game proves queens are useless in Crazyhouse. So this is always an idea in these sorts of positions before the knight jumps out to f5. But and this is always risky, this c3, because you are weakening c2 before the king's castles and stuff. But it's actually fine. Yeah, this is all fine. So just reinforcing d4 makes sense. Where's the knight heading long term? Is it heading here? So if you play knight f3, it's because you want bishop g5. So knight here, you're not supporting g5 as much. But, well, we saw black playing h5 in some of these sorts of positions in game 1. Okay. Is the sack worth it? Takes. Probably not. But you get this at the end of it, so maybe. Knight takes pawn might be an idea here for black. And it also stops knight f3, because you just take it. So it might not be completely crazy. But maybe there's some... Yeah. Well, black has spent almost half his time already. Knight e3. Oh, I didn't see that one. Who spotted that? Katask, knight e3. I don't even know how you respond to that. Ooh. Ooh. Wow. I was thinking of moves. Just throws in a check. Yes. Okay. And now all black wants is pawns, basically. Pawn for g2. This is fun. Oh, Pepe predicted the g3 line. g3, knight here, king here, okay. Didn't want the trade of queens because... Yeah, so that... How to get the pieces you need to finish this off. So a couple of pawns would be really nice for black. Black is sack sitting Sachiros. Okay, f6, going for those pawns. Okay, but in the meantime, what can white actually do to defend? I mean, yeah, so I was thinking queen f1, but does it work? I don't think it works. No, maybe it does work actually. Okay, so very sneaky move from black. He's going for a knight. He just wants knight at f3 with checkmate. Bishop takes d2, big threat. And Katas says white is just killing unless black gets some stuff in hand. Black had to go for knight h4 and play for positional compensation of weak light squares. So really hard to play for both sides is what they're saying. Yeah, this is becoming a bit of a pin. But okay, really neat idea this. Pawn at f3, defense. Yeah, that's a good idea. And so yeah, both players use quite a lot of time. It's only move 12 of this match, but it's quite a tricky position. Yeah, no, pawn f3 is interesting. And it stops black ever playing on f3. You know, even after some exchange, pawn f3 to defend this knight, anything like this. I am scared for both, says GSVC. I'm scared for the black king side, and so on. Oh, he just hides the knight. Oh, okay, but now bishop at f3? Yeah, pawn at f3. That knight's trapped. Oh, that's so annoying. Because if you go knight here, knight takes knight actually defends your queen even. Yeah, all these pieces on the queen side, not doing any good. At least when black takes the knight, bishop takes covers f3. I mean, small mercies. What can white do? This doesn't work because it's covered. Oh, yeah, it doesn't work. Just queen takes. Whoa, g6. That's creative. Takes with check. Okay, very chill, not even taking the knight. Oh, this is looking punishing. Because with every exchange, black is reinforcing his position. This is really punishing. Pawn takes knight. Now, simple. Bishop defends, but okay. So where's the if you did knight here, knight takes queen would be too lethal. So knight here is an interesting idea. Threatening knighted. Yes, so knight here is a really interesting idea. What would white actually do in response? Yeah, I don't like this because it cuts off your defense of your queen. But okay. Oh, knight here, that's black was sneaky. So white would trade queens. Yeah, the trade of queens I think favoured black there, and I'll just show the line I meant. So I was thinking here, yes, after this point, after here, okay, so if I use something like knight f5, hang on, so it's before, yeah, so this sort of position, I was thinking knight f5 maybe, knight f5, and the point is if you take the queen, I'm taking this queen back with check, knight takes queen, king here, queen takes g2, queen takes f2, and king runs to here, knight d3 to mate. Yeah, that's the idea. Okay. Oh, this is going to be really tough for littleplotkin because he's 2-5 down and he's playing black. So he's really got to figure out this opening. Oh, g6, not castles. Okay. Really? Really? And white's already got a pawn in hand. g6 is not... Yeah, g6 is not... It creates a weakness on g7 and white's pieces are just flooding in to these weak dark squares. It's just a disaster. Yeah, the winner of this needs one more win. I can't remember who against. I think it's against Legion. Yeah, the winner plays Legion, says GSVC. And the Katas says ArtOfDeception hasn't shown any obvious weakness in this match, outside of the first game, which was clean for Plotkin. And Pepe says he proved in his last game with black that he's well prepared. He said, Ruth says this is rubbish, isn't it? This opening he's playing with black. These openings he's playing with black. Absolutely. He just needed something. He just needed to get into a playable position, and then Plotkin's a real force. But he's not getting playable positions, so he's not getting a chance. And so basically the only game he won as black was the one where white had 3 queens on his back rank, and it was a brilliant win. But you can't do that every game, right? You need something working for you. Oh, so here, this is really interesting because so yeah, he's got knight takes bishop, and I was kind of surprised because I thought in this position queen takes knight would be something. Queen takes knight, bishop takes, but maybe it's not anything. I don't know. Bishop takes pawn. Yeah, maybe there's nothing here. And so now actually he's actually getting to defend because that knight was defending f7. So I really want to go back and analyze that previous position. Does queen takes knight work? But Pepe says maybe there was nothing. Yeah, e5 and g5 are both covered. Queen takes knight, bishop takes. Yeah, maybe there's nothing. Bishop takes f7, king takes. Yeah, maybe there's nothing there. So then, hang on a second. Got to be really careful here. Bishop takes knight, so he's offering a trade of queens. But this is dangerous because you have knight e7, king takes knight at f6. Don't know, it just feels like there's something here, but I can't. Okay. Sorry, I'm finding it hard to analyze right now. Okay, so what's good for white is e2 is covered by the knight. That's something to cheer about for white. What's good for black? So back rank ideas are good, and also if ever white takes this, there's knight coming in with check. So why doesn't queen takes, is queen takes queen? So is queen takes queen dangerous? This is what I'm trying to figure out. So it's, yeah, maybe the black king won't survive because the back rank is weak. But queen takes queen, rook takes queen. You can't really sack and go in directly. You haven't got a knight to. Okay, well, this is nice. Just so he's covering his back rank. Okay, but there's queen takes queen, rook takes queen, knight here. Does it do anything though? Just king here. If king takes knight, there are worries about pawn here, king takes pawn, knight here. But actually, there'll be a rook guarding this square, so you don't have enough reinforcements. But you just, is there something else? Pawn here, is this pawn here? So knight here, king takes knight, pawn here, king takes pawn, bishop here. Yeah, so queen takes queen just has to be mating for white, but I can't see it. Yeah, I think just okay, unless queen takes queen, rook takes queen. Okay, maybe not because knight here, king here, but then knight takes pawn. Yeah, this is just going to be trouble. It just can't be right. But I can't see it. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. King takes g7, interesting. I don't like trading queens for white here. You got to be so accurate. Whoa, was king f8 a move too? Yeah, so king f8, you'd need something like knight takes g6 or something. Oh man. But we're going to see what Joanna tries calls the cookie crumb mate here. King takes f6. You've only got one more cookie to crumb, so to draw the king up the board with. Now, if you go back, you're getting mated, I think, with a bishop and a queen. So you had to take again. And now I'm saying I think there's a mate here, but where is it? So queen here to start with, here, and then a bishop here. It's got to be mate, right? Yeah. Bishop here. So we're seeing this played out. He's taking an extra rook, which is profitable, and rook here will be mate if he steps back, so he has to step up or block. Oh, what? Oh, there's nothing. Wow, there's nothing. There's no mate. Or there's okay. I'm just okay. I'm time out. Oof, hard. I thought there was a mate, but let's have a look. Takes. Ah, takes is a mistake. Okay, amazing. So the quick mate was bishop at f4. He had to use one more cookie crumb to take here, and then queen at g3. Oh my goodness. Everything is covered. You just needed one more cookie crumb, and if you try and run back then, queen here is checkmate. If you try and run here, queen here is checkmate. Whoa, the final cookie crumb, really hard to see. This is exactly what I was thinking. So I thought this looked good. But in fact, actually in this final position, after king takes knight, you needed queen here so exploiting the dark squares, just taking everything. There's nothing you can do. So here, just take it. Block, just take it. The king comes back, and just take it and take the blocker. It's a back rank mate. So yeah, white had a mate by a few ways. Okay, so littleplotkin is now only one serve down, one break of serve down, and he's repeating the French defense, which was the promising way he won game 1, for example. And amazingly, he's won the last two black games, isn't it? The last two black games? Yeah, he's won the last two games as black. Amazing. So let's see. Queen h4 at the end, probably still winning. Yes, Katas said in that last game. Queen h4, strong. Bishop f4 is mating 2, says 12 team. Mating machine, GSBC strikes. Of course I said bishop f4. That was a slick mate. I don't get why bishop takes f5 is not being played. Isn't that good? So this one here. They're saying they're playing very chessy. They're not winning pieces. He means taking pieces, exchanging pieces. GSC says, if I wanted to win pieces, I'd just play chess. But apparently I'm outvoted 2-1. Oh, I think maybe he did mean taking pieces. And Greek gift, ouch. Oh, okay, so I haven't been watching the game properly. But stuff has happened, which I've just missed. Let's just quickly wind through. This is amazing. Okay, so brilliant. H4. He gets in the Greek gift. Takes. He gets in the check. Queen is coming in, by the way. That was the problem with just if the king just backs off, the queen comes in. So he takes the knight to try and get some initiative. But so black's losing a lot of material here. GSVC says bishop takes g5. I did not get either. Just Sugi99 says just king g8. So king g8, queen h5, block. Was there some block? Okay. So bishop takes g5. People are saying in the chat was the mistake. And Pepe is saying is rook takes h6, check, and queen h5 an idea earlier. Yeah, so, but if you don't take that knight, if you back off, the queen comes in, maybe you can then block. But, yeah. Okay, so straight up, just to get it, I mean, just backing off a sec. This is quite nice. So, boom, boom. Yeah, maybe you can block on h6. But okay, takes, you get the open h file, you get material, and now we're simply threatening mate on g7. So maybe knight at f5, but... So let's see what happens. So ArtOfDeception, very low on time. So just the problem is he needs to defend g7. King takes pawn, loses. That's straight up. He just resigns. Yeah. And knight f5 seemed like a try, but so let's just quickly see in that last position what would happen after knight f5. Knight f5, white just takes. But actually, in this final position, black has a resource. Just pawn at g2, takes, and instead of taking back, so if you take back, you're losing straight up. But you don't need to take back apparently. So it's bishop at b5, blocker, bishop takes d3, pawn takes, and then take. And you have now a pawn to block with. So interesting. So in this position here, black has no pawn to block with. You just throw in the check to get a pawn to block with, and then you're okay. It's not so bad for black. It's definitely not even resigner. Amazing. So 5-4. What a comeback from Plotkin. He's got to really figure out this opening though as black. G6, really? Well, I guess it worked last time, but I don't think it's because... Yeah, this is far too hard to defend for black. I think... Okay, but he's going to give it a go. Did he disconnect the last game? No, I think he was... He just resigned. Oh, he's disconnected now? Nope. Everyone seems to be connected. It was hard to see how to defend. And he was low on time, but there was a defense. Okay, so what we saw last time is the quick d5, and notice the bishop is now not on c4, so this doesn't come with the same kind of tempo. Yep, as I was about to say, pawn here, try and undermine the center because you want knight takes e4. I mean, it's still all wishful thinking because white's got all the diagonals he needs to just completely ignore you and go knight f5 and at g7. That's what I'd be concerned about a little bit. Does knight f5? Oh, and white does it. Okay, that says, my intuition says white is winning last game, but black had a way to continue the game. And Tasugi says, really, I felt white was dead. White won last game by resigning. Yeah, he won last game by resigning, but it turns out black did have defensive resources. So I'll just say resignation position last game. Okay, this is a real problem because you win the rook with check and just simply you have the second diagonal in hand, the bishop, to get the mate. So this is just, this is so hard. This is so hard. Unless you can find a mate, but you don't quite have enough to mate. You could just throw in a pawn, but... Pepe says, I need to study this line. It looks great for black. Really? This is just terrible. Takes, takes, queen takes. It's all over. Queen takes is it's just all over. And Katas says, yeah, wait, what? Queen takes g4. It's over. Exactly. Oof. Hard. Just nothing doing. Black only has a pawn in hand. Oh, that's interesting. But pawn takes rook is check. And yeah. Oh, that was quite. Hang on. What happened there? So why not just pawn takes rook straight away? Because pawn takes rook, king takes, you don't have rook g8 because the queen can take it. So knight f6 is sneaky. Oof, yeah, sneaky, sneaky. Okay, so very well played by ArtOfDeception, taking that match 6-4, and but really, so now the match is over. I mean, we can look at the openings as black a little bit, because that's the story of this match. If Plotkin could just get a playable position as black, then this would have been a game. So often it was e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6. I don't know these openings. I can't play these openings, but e4, e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6. He was playing something like this, and he played bishop f5. No, this wasn't the right order at all. Bishop c4. Okay, I don't play e4 myself. Bishop c4, bishop c5 would be fine. So it was because it was e4, takes, and then bishop c5, knight f5. Okay, so this is actually fine. Sorry, yeah, so this is actually fine for black, but then you have to find queen f6 in this position. Pawn at g5, queen e5, and probably this. So going back to this position, bishop c5 is maybe engine first choice. Just have more lines. Bishop c5 is engine's first choice, but knight takes d4 is more common. Knight f6 also. Okay, so something like this. So queen f6 is another idea. Is king f8 completely terrible? Yeah, it's not ideal. So just white could just sack or just go at g7. So that's what happened in the first games, but then towards the end we saw castles into, and again, so it's like the first time Plotkin played it, he actually played more accurately according to what maybe would be theoretically accurate. this would be, for example, if knight takes pawn, I think you don't necessarily take that knight even. Yeah, you just go d5 and develop. If the knight backs off, then you just put a pawn back on g7 or do something. What do people do here? Just take, and then put a pawn on g7, something like this. Yeah, pawn on g7 is fine, and black would be okay. So castles is fine, but he started going for these sorts of g6 ideas, which are incredibly dangerous. King f8, bishop h6, king g8, and they're incredibly dangerous for exactly the reason he lost at the end, because pawn at g7 takes rook will be mate if white has two diagonals in hand. So that's quite, and so it's just very hard to play as black. So yeah, how do you play it? At b4 apparently in this position and go for knight takes pawn. That would have been probably the way to go. Because here, if knight h5, g takes h5, at g7, white doesn't have the second pawn. He needs to finish it off. So it's quite interesting. You might think just take the rook, but we don't need the pawn. You grab the pawn. Yeah, that doesn't work because knight takes bishop covers g7. But okay, so this shows this is all. Yeah, this apparently is. This isn't even theory, but this would be closer to equal. Bishop at d2 to deflect that bishop. King d1, and so on. Okay. So this would be an example how black might actually end up, despite this annoying position, actually be doing okay. Stockfish actually really isn't sure, but maybe black is okay. Bishop d4, just trying to find some defense. Okay, so actually this might be playable, but it's just very hard to play as black. And let's be engines defend well, as Pepe says. At b4, just calmly defend. Yeah, so, but obviously just with this move g6, I'd say I'd only want to play that if I can very soon after plug the g7 hole, and it's just a permanent hole in the position, and it's just very hard to remove that hole. So unless you can make something happen very quickly, it's just really hard to play. So that was tried a couple of times. Probably I'd say the best approach was just castles into it, but castles, knight takes g7 and d5. I think that's what I would play if I played e5 as black. I think that's what I'd go for, this sort of thing. And we see like one game won by white, one game won by black. It's fairly even stuff. Even at g7 straight away. What if he just goes knight takes g7 again? And then so you just use the knight as a defender. Suppose he keeps on doing this. No, it doesn't work because queen takes queen. Queen takes queen, and then you win a free knight, so that doesn't work this time. And in the meantime, you've opened up your bishop, so knight can't go to f5. Still wants to do knight h5. I don't understand that move, because queen takes queen, knight takes knight. Feels like black is safe. I mean, my hunch would be something like at h6 here to try and get in, but this apparently doesn't work at all because white's lacking in development apparently. I don't get it. I really don't. So obviously this is a threat. Why can't we just defend? What's the issue here? Ah, okay, this knight here. Okay, so we go queen here to defend. Okay, so it's actually okay. So it's just surprising how this is so difficult. I mean, yeah. Okay, so apparently this is very good for black. So you get your attack going, and in the meantime, this is all defended. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I've spoken too much. Thanks for watching. Pepe says this was psychological play. If you win this as black, you would expect white to lose his confidence for the rest of the match. Ah, interesting idea. And yeah. Okay. Well, good games. Plotkin needs to prepare better as black. I guess that's the story of that. If I play e5 ever as black, I need better lines. I need better lines even as playing knight f6. All black lines are really tough. But I guess that's the story. You need to somehow surprise your opponent. Okay, thanks everyone for watching, and good night. It's 3:20 a.m.